Hello everybody, welcome again to yet another interesting video. In this video, I want to explain some of the reasons why electric SGR trains are more superior to their diesel-powered counterparts. Now, the reason why I've decided to make this video is because I've been seeing a lot of discussions and arguments revolving around electric versus diesel trains. And what is making this video even more interesting is that two two neighbors, two neighbors, Kenya and Tanzania, decided to choose completely different paths. For example, Tanzania went for an electric powered SGR train, while Kenya went for a diesel powered SGR train. Now, before I begin, which option do you think is the best between an electric train and a diesel powered train? Which one do you think is the most superior? Well, that is the reason why I have created this video. And by watching this video, you will be able to understand first how the two options work. I'm going to explain how an electric train operates and also how a diesel train operates. I will then get into the 4 or 5 main advantages of having an electric train over a diesel powered train. And finally, I will explain some of the main disadvantages of operating an electric train and the measures the Tanzanian government is taking to ensure that their SGR project is always running efficiently. Now, before we begin, if you are watching me for the first time, kindly subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss my future uploads. And also don't forget to give this video a like, because that is the best way of letting YouTube know that it is a good content so that it can keep on suggesting it to more and more people. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get into the video. Now, I will start by explaining how an electric train works. So an electric train has got a very powerful electric motor on board. So instead of having an engine, an electric train has an electric motor on board. The electric motor is supplied with electricity, rotates, and then moves the train from one point to another. I hope you have understood that. An electric train has got an electric motor on board. The motor receives the current. It rotates and then moves the train from point A to point B. That is the simplest way I can use to explain how an electric train works. And then when it comes to diesel powered trains, a diesel train, on the contrary, has got a very powerful diesel engine on board. So the diesel engine burns the fuel, rotates, and then moves the train from point A to point B. So you can clearly see that the main difference between an electric train and a diesel powered train is the method of propulsion. Electric train uses an electric motor, while a diesel train uses a diesel engine. And I want you to mark the two differences very carefully, because I'll be using them to explain some of the points. I'll use them to explain some of the advantages in the next segment. That is the advantages of having an electric train over a diesel train, or in other words, the reasons why electric trains are more superior than diesel trains. So remember the operation. Electric train uses electric motor to move from one place to another. The motor receives power, rotates, and then moves the train from one place to another. For the case of diesel, the diesel burns the fuel on board. The diesel engine burns the fuel on board, rotates, and in the process facilitates the movement of the train from point 1 to point 2. Very, very important. So do you have any question about the operation of an electric train and a diesel engine? Did you ever know how they operate? Please feel free to let me know in the comment section. Now, welcome to the main segment where I'm going to explain the reasons that are making an electric train to be more superior than a diesel train. So the number one and the most important advantage is that electric trains have got very high efficiency. And in order for you to understand the importance of efficiency, I will begin by explaining the meaning of efficiency. So in simple terms, efficiency refers to the amount of the total supplied energy that is being converted into a meaningful use. The amount of supplied energy being the measure of the amount of supplied energy being converted into meaningful use. And meaningful use in this case is nothing other than moving the train from one place to another. So if we say that electric trains have got high efficiency of over 90%, it means that most of the electrical energy supplied is actually being used in moving the train from one location to another. So if most of our energy is being converted into meaningful use, then it means that electric trains waste less energy. They don't waste a lot of energy. They use the energy in the most appropriate way. And high efficiency, therefore, makes electric trains to be generally more economical to operate in the long run. You use relatively less amount of money to run the train or to operate the train, but you get a lot of profit. And I think this must have been one of the reasons why the Tanzanian government decided to go for an electric train and not a diesel powered train like their neighbor Kenya did. So when it comes to diesel engines, the diesel engines or the diesel powered trains, they have got very low, they have relatively lower efficiencies, and the percentage ranges between 30 and 40%. So a low efficiency of the diesel powered trains means that most of the energy being supplied is not being converted into the intended use, that is moving the train from point A to point B. Most of the energy is being wasted. Most of the energy is lost to the environment in form of heat energy. Because as the diesel engine operates, it is producing a lot of heat energy. This heat energy is not helping in moving the train. Instead, it is being lost to the environment. So this leads us to the conclusion that diesel-powered trains are less economical to operate. They are less economical to operate because there is a lot of energy wastage. So on this one, the Tanzanian SGR electric SGR train wins by a greater margin. And that is the main reason why electric trains are more superior than their diesel counterparts. So this high efficiency, I want you to note it somewhere because it is going to help you to understand some of the other advantages that I'm going to talk about in the coming segments. So note it somewhere. Electric trains have got high efficiency, and this high efficiency is going to help in some other ways that we are about to talk about. So number one, we want to talk about the importance of having a higher efficiency, high energy efficiency. So number one, high efficiency is giving the trains a lot of power. They are extremely powerful. They are more powerful than the diesel powered SGR trains. And this power is coming from the high efficiency. So because electric trains are extremely powerful, they can carry a lot of load as compared to diesel option. They can carry a lot of load. And this also means that they can carry a lot of passengers. And this is making them even more economical. If you can carry a lot of load, you can carry more passengers, the machine becomes more economical. And that is what this video is all about. I don't want to just talk from nowhere. I will be explaining everything based on facts. I have spent several days doing research on these two options. So high efficiency makes electric trains to be more powerful, and this is allowing them to carry a lot of load, allowing them to carry more passengers, which is very, very important. So the Tanzanian government was very, very smart when it comes to making the choices, and I fully support them. This is the point where it is better to speak the truth. That is the reality. They beat us 10-0 when it comes to the SGR. 10-0, no doubt about that. So high efficiency, number one, we have said, is giving the trains more power, which means they can carry a lot of load, they can carry many passengers, and this is resulting into more profits. Then the other benefit of having high efficiency is speed. High efficiency is giving electric trains extremely high speeds, and you can't compare. It will be totally mad to compare an electric train and a diesel train in terms of speed. They can't be compared because an electric train is extremely fast, and the high speed is being facilitated by the high efficiency. Most of the energy is being converted into meaningful use. So that is giving the electric train a lot of power. And this power is giving the train high speeds, enables the train to attain very, very high speeds, which is important in modern business environments. So the high speed, I believe, the high speed is also very important for the case of Tanzania. Tanzania is a much bigger country geographically. So you need a lot of speed because you will be covering longer distances to move from one city to another. Let's say moving from Dar es Salaam to Mwanza. It is a lot of distance. And how will you achieve that? By having a train that can move at extremely high speeds. And this is on record. The Tanzanian SGR train is moving at a top speed of 160 kilometers per hour as compared to the Kenyan train that can attain a maximum of 120 kilometers per hour. So the Tanzanian train is in excess of 40 kilometers per hour when you compare it with the Kenyan train, which is a diesel powered train. So speed is very important, and speed is a very big game changer when it comes to trains. People and goods will be able can move, not will be, the train is already operational. The only thing that is still ongoing is that the Tanzanian government is continuing to extend the train to many other towns and cities in the country. So people and goods can move from one point to another within the shortest time possible. People can move from one place to another within the shortest time possible. So if you were to take an electric train from Dar es Salaam to Dodoma, which is the capital city, and also a diesel train from Dar es Salaam to Dodoma, the electric train will reach Dodoma, which is the intended destination, much earlier than the diesel-powered SGR train. So that is another benefit of high efficiency. So far we have talked about two benefits of having higher efficiency. Number one, we've talked about more power, which is enabling the trains to carry a lot of load. Number two, we have talked about high speed, which is enabling the trains to move from point A to point B within the shortest time possible. Now, the last thing I want to talk about efficiency is power regeneration. And this is something even myself I was not aware about. I did not know about this when it comes to SGR trains. I was totally green. I did not know about something known as power regeneration. So with the time I was able to understand, as I was conducting the research for this video, I was able to understand that electric trains like the Tanzanias is able to generate electricity when they are slowing down. So when they are slowing down, they are using the same motor that was driving them during the journey to generate electricity. And this electricity is being fed back to the grid to make the project even more economical. Very amazing and mind-blowing. Did you know about power regeneration? Did you know that electric trains regenerate power when they are slowing down? Did you know about that? Don't forget to let me know in the comment section. But that is what is in records. Electric trains generate electricity. They can use their momentum as they are slowing down to rotate the motors, generate power, which is then fed back to the grid to make the process more economical. Very, very important. What do you think? Don't forget to share with me. Very genius. Yeah, so that is enough on efficiency. So under efficiency, we have talked about more power, more speed, and also energy regeneration, which is being fed back to the grid. Now allow me to move to the second advantage of using an electric train over a diesel-powered train, or in other words, let us look at the second reason why electric trains are more superior than their diesel counterparts. So in this one, I will talk about maintenance cost. So the maintenance cost, the cost of maintaining a machine, is a very, very important consideration when putting up a project. And in this case again, I will say the Tanzanian government played very, very smart. An electric train has got very low maintenance costs as compared to their diesel-powered counterparts. And to help you understand why an electric train has got low maintenance costs, I will go back to the engine concept. An electric train uses an electric motor as the engine. So an electric motor has got very few components as compared to a diesel engine. So a diesel engine has got many components. They have many complex components, and the larger the number of components is the higher the likelihood of needing repair. It is the higher the likelihood of breakdowns. So a diesel powered train is more likely to break down than an electric. And what is the reason? They have more complex parts. They have many complex parts. So in general, electric SGR trains like the one operating in Tanzania, they have got low maintenance costs, which is making the project more profitable in the long run as compared to diesel powered, because you have to regularly maintain the diesel engine. You have to look at the pistons, you have to look at the carburetors, you have to look at the combustion system. There's so much more surrounding a diesel engine as compared to an electric motor, and that is making them to have high maintenance costs, while electric trains low maintenance costs. And I think that is a very game-changing point when comparing electric trains and diesel-powered trains. Feel free to let me know what you think. But I think, according to me, I believe that this is a very, very big win to the Tanzanian government and the Tanzanian citizens as well. Yeah, waiting to hear what you think. I'll be reading the comments. So that is the second advantage. Electric SGR trains have got much lower maintenance costs, which is adding to their profitability as compared to diesel powered counterparts. Now let us move to the third advantage. Let us move to the third advantage, and I think this is the last one I will talk about before wrapping up everything by explaining the two main disadvantages of electric trains. So the third benefit of operating electric trains is that they are extremely friendly to the environment. And in the world we are in today, nothing is more important than environmental conservation. So let's be realistic. Let's get real a bit. So for the train, as the train is moving from one town to the next, or as the train is moving from one city to the next, the train has to pass through communities. The train will be passing through residences. The trains will be passing near people's homes, and that means that the friendliness to the environment must be a point on the table. We can't ignore it. So electric trains, number one, I will explain the two main ways in which electric trains are friendly to the environment. So number one, they produce less noise. They are more quiet than their diesel-powered counterparts. Electric trains are generally more quiet. They don't produce a lot of noise. And that means that they will be causing less disturbance to the communities through which the railway line passes. So even if the railway line is passing near a school, a church, a mosque, or a hospital, there will be very minimal disturbance to the adjacent community or facilities. And that is made possible due to the fact that these electric trains are generally more quiet. So if you compare this to a diesel train is very noisy. That is the reality. A diesel train is very, very noisy. So they will automatically cause a lot of disturbance when they pass near schools, when they pass near churches, when they pass near people's homes. And the best way to ensure that such problems never occur is to go for an electric SGR train. And that is exactly what Tanzania did. The next benefit or the next point under being friendly to the environment, I will talk about pollution. So electric trains in most cases have zero emission to the environment. They don't produce smoke because they are not burning any fuel on board. So because of that, they preserve the environment. They ensure that the air that we breathe always remains clean. There is zero emission. And once there is zero emission, apart from ensuring that the air we breathe is fresh, it is also reducing the emission of greenhouse gases to the atmosphere, which is helping to keep global warming at check. So environmental friendliness is another big thing. It's another wonderful thing about electric trains. And it is something we can't ignore. It's something we must mention. We can't fail to talk about environmental friendliness when comparing an electric train and a diesel powered train. And I will keep on saying that the Tanzanian government made a wonderful choice, even when it comes to this one. And if you think I'm wrong, I'm open to criticism. Feel free to correct me where I'm wrong. And also feel free to support me on the things that I have said that are actually true. Now that marks the end of the advantages, and I'm glad that so far you know the three main reasons that are making electric trains to be more superior than their diesel powered counterparts. And the first one we talked about high efficiency. And high efficiency resulted into more power. High efficiency resulted into high speed, and high efficiency resulted into power regeneration, which means electric trains are able to supply power back to the grid, which is making the process more economical. And after high efficiency, we talked about maintenance cost. Electric trains have got much lower maintenance costs as compared to their diesel powered counterparts. Very, very important. And finally, we have talked about friendliness to the environment, where we have said electric trains are more friendly to the environment because of two main reasons. There are zero emissions to the environment because we are not burning any fuel. And number two, these trains are so quiet. So they cause very minimal disturbance to the adjacent communities and social amenities. So finally, I want to very quickly explain the two main disadvantages of operating electric trains. And I will also explain how the Tanzanian government was able to take care of one of the advantages. So the first main advantage of operating electric trains is that there is usually very high initial cost. especially in terms of the cables. Installing the cables is very, very expensive. So you have to build the railway, and you also have to install the cables. So that is making the initial cost to be extremely high. But even so, even with the high initial costs, the electric train will still be able to save on operation costs by supplying some power back to the grid when they are breaking through power regeneration, and also by being more efficient. They don't spend a lot of power, they don't burn a lot of power to operate. So they consume less power but generate a lot of profit. And also the high speed enables them to make several trips per day, which increases revenue. So even if there is a high initial cost of installation, these electric trains will still be able to recover the money that was used in putting up the project after some time. Then finally, and this one affected the Tanzanian government directly, but they were able to solve it last year. They need reliable power supply. Electric trains need a stable power supply in order to operate efficiently. So at the start, the Tanzanian government experienced a lot of problems, a lot of challenges, because there were power blackouts, the train was stalling on the way, passengers were complaining, there were delays. But after some time, they were able to solve the process, and that leads us to something else, the Julius Nyerere hydropower plant. So the government was silently investing in building a very big uh, power generation dam. And after commissioning last year, I am very sure that power shortages are a thing of the past when it comes to running the Tanzanian SGR train. So guys, what do you think so far? What do you think? What did you think before watching this video? And what do you now think after watching the video? Don't forget to always share with me in the comment section. And for now, I want to thank you for watching me to this far. Thank you very much for the attention. Thank you very much for the likes. Thank you very much for the subscription. And also thank you very, very much for always coming back for more videos. Now, this brings us to the end of this wonderful segment. Bye for now, and see you in the next video.